This is the plaintiff, Charmaine Savage. She says she parked her car at her boyfriend's house, and during an ice and rainstorm, a branch fell on her car, damaging it. Turns out the tree is on both her boyfriend and the defendant's property, and they share the tree. She's suing the defendant for half of her deductible, which is the $1,000 she's required to pay, because the tree damaged her car. This is the defendant, Isaura Garrow. She says the plaintiff came to her 5 months after the storm and tried to extort $3,000 from her for some so-called damage to her car. The woman's on some sort of money grab because the tree branches didn't even touch her car. She didn't even mention a thing until 5 months after the storm, and she refuses to be ripped off. She's accused of not being a responsible homeowner.
All parties, please raise your right hand. People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milianza presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Savage, you are suing Ms. Garrow for $1,000, half of your $2,000 deductible, as a result of some tree limbs that fell on your car during a storm.
Yes.
Tell me what happened.
So, February 25th.
Of what year?
Of this year.
Of 2022?
Yes, 2022. 9 a.m. roughly. I was asleep, got woken up. It sounded like gunshots, but it was, when I looked out the window, it was branches falling on top of my car. So it was a rainy, freezing rainy morning. You know what I mean? The trees were frozen or whatever the case may be. Like I said, they fell on my car, so then I immediately ran outside. And the cops were already there, but I can't report because that's not it's not a car situation. That's what they explained to me. This don't have nothing to do.
So there was no police report?
No, I couldn't do it. They
Right.
said that they don't do that. So and then
Did you take pictures that day?
Yes, I did.
Do you have pictures of
Yes,
the damaged car?
Yes, I do.
Were these pictures taken when the storm happened?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's the damages on my car.
Okay.
And I don't have an American car. I have a Germany car. So, you know.
Your point being what? That the repair's
like-
expensive? Because the repair,
expensive.
what year
That's
car
what I'm
is this?
saying. This is a 2017.
Right, and the repair was $6,000?
Yeah, that's what was informed to me when my.
But you didn't do the repair, right?
No, it was my insurance company and the auto.
And
body
they
shop.
did they paid
Yes.
$6,000 for the repair?
Yes.
What needed to be repaired?
Well, I have everything that shows what was
Right, let's look at the
repaired.
repair bill. But now, this tree that we're looking at here, I can see some frozen ice on it.
And that's what caused the tree, the branches to fall off.
Right, but you had said in your complaint that this tree was dead.
Yes, I have a picture of that too. Like, if you could see that someone cut into it.
Okay, cutting into it doesn't kill a tree, so I'm
Well,
trying
just-
to understand.
Because that's what I thought. It was the dead tree. My fault.
Okay, were there leaves on the tree the prior November?
No.
Were there leaves on that tree the prior November or whenever you guys lose your leaves? I'm from Florida, sorry.
No.
Don't mean to brag, but you know.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so how long hasn't that tree had leaves?
Probably the year before.
A
this
year before. And so what happened
Yeah,
to the tree?
probably.
Was the tree dead?
The tree started dying. Like,
Okay.
Since I moved there.
All right, so apparently the tree is right on the property line. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Your Honor.
And we know that because you did a survey, because first you asked her to pay $3,000.
No, well, not 3. I said 2. It was 2 because at first I didn't know, but then when she brought up the land survey, I said, that makes sense. Let me do that. And
So
then
you did the land survey, and it turns out it's right on the property line.
it's between her
And your boyfriend.
Yes.
So you said to her, all right, so half and half, because the tree's dead. And your answer to that is what?
The plaintiff says a tree branch came down on her car in a storm. The defendant owns half the tree, so owes her for half of her car repairs. Now, the defendant says the woman is trying to extort $3,000 from her 5 months after she says a branch from some tree fell on her car. Let's listen.
The branches fell down, but it was no any damage on the car.
Well, but there is
I
damage
have
to the car.
a camera in my house.
I know. Your camera has the car from very far. This picture
Yeah.
shows damage, don't you think?
Yes, Your Honor, but it could
Plus
be
they
damage.
did repair the car. I mean, it was
Yeah.
expensive, but
Could be damaged from before because the police were there, and I assume that they will make a report.
maybe, maybe not, because that's not a criminal matter, is it? You see that there is damage there, right? I don't know if it's $6,000 worth of damage, but it's damage. You see that,
Yes,
right?
But like, how can I know that the accident were not before? Like, because
Right. So
like-
that's true of every single case in front of me and any judge in the history of mankind. How do you know that wasn't there before? Well, what evidence do you have that that was there before? That's a car that's parked in front of your house all the time. If you were to tell me, oh, but I've seen that car and that was like that before, that's evidence. If she were to tell me, by the way, was it like that before?
No, it wasn't.
Okay, so that's it. That, like, I can't suppose that every car damage was like that before. See, here's the thing. Trees' limbs falling down are an act of God. They're not the responsibility of the homeowners unless it's a dead tree. If it really is a dead tree, then it's a problem. And it's a problem of both the homeowners. I know because you had said in your answer to the complaint that you'd called the city many times.
I called the city.
But the city's only responsible for those parts of the branches that are touching the telephone poles.
Exactly.
So I know that it's a complication for you to take care of it because what are you going to do? You're going to cut on the bottom and then that thing pulls down a telephone pole. I get it. Do you have any evidence that you had contacted the city to cut it down?
They didn't send me any evidence, but I had the text that we were talking.
How many times were you asking them to go there and cut the tree?
I went there like 3 times to the
in
municipal building
the
in
year?
Orange.
Because we're talking about a whole year. And how many times did your boyfriend go there and ask him to cut the tree?
He didn't know at that
Right.
time that it wasn't even his tree. He didn't know that
Well,
tree
it
was
is his tree.
Well, now he knows.
Okay.
Now
well,
he
why
knows
would
that I
it's
got
right
the-
smack dab in the middle of the property line? It's so obvious it's both their tree. It's a big fat tree in the middle of the property line. These are the 2 steps, right? On the bottom, right is your boyfriend's step, and on the left is her steps, right?
Yeah, that's all her stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Those are her steps on one side of the tree, and those are your boyfriend's steps on the other. It is clearly like smack dab in the middle of both properties.
But I
But
believe
here's
that
my
it groaned
question.
over some
Here's
point.
my question to you.
Yes.
When do you first say something to her?
Well, that day when that happened, I looked to see she wasn't there. Supposedly she was on vacation.
How do you know?
Because someone, when I looked and seen, I asked someone, hey, is she here? They said, no, she's on vacation.
Okay.
So I verified that with the neighbor downstairs. And then I was waiting, just to see, I don't know when she's going to come home. But
According to her, it wasn't until July, right? That's when you say you got notified.
Almost
No,
like
no, because-
June.
June, so 4 months later, she says.
No,
And
because
you're
you know
saying
why?
that's not true.
It couldn't have been because, you know what, I got the land survey in June. So it was before that because we talked about this and when she mentioned me the land survey, that's when I said, I'm going to do it. And then it was a complication, like I said, when I got the land survey.
How much did the survey cost you? Or did they have it on file?
I don't have a receipt, but it was $800.
800?
Yes.
Oh
Land
my gosh,
surveys
and
are
you're
a
suing
lot.
for 1,000?
Well, because I don't
Because
have.
at the time you thought it was her tree.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, so once I found
Did
out.
your boyfriend really pay 1,000?
Yes,
Not
he
that he
did.
has to,
Yes,
but
yes,
I
he
mean,
did. He
well, he
paid
does
for it.
have to, but you may not.
Yes, he did.
You may not make him. I mean, so you've come to court to ask for the other
Yes.
owner of the tree
Yes.
to say,
That's what-
listen, you have a dead tree. That's a risk to people, and you should have taken care of it.
Exactly.
And your defense to that is it was linked up to the telephone poles, and I couldn't take care of it. The city had to take care of it. But, the question becomes, did you have some responsibility when the city didn't do it? Do you have some responsibility to, and can you even, cut down a tree that is enmeshed in the wires?
Welcome back to the People's Court. I'm Harvey Levin. The plaintiff says she's being more than fair by only charging the defendant half the amount of her car repair. The defendant doesn't see it that way and says no tree of hers fell during this storm, so she owes nada. Let's go back into the courtroom.
There are towns where you can't touch the tree that's involved with the power lines. There are towns where you can, but only with a certified tree trimmer who's licensed. There are towns where you can call the town and they come right away. There are towns where you can call the power company, and the power company hires somebody and comes right away. You are living in a town where you could hire someone to cut those down. I realize that you feel that it should be the city that takes care of that, I understand that. But it is something that you could take care of. Therefore, I do find, because everyone knew that this was a dangerous tree, and again, I can't stress this enough, how important it is that you as a homeowner and he as a homeowner know that that tree didn't bear any fruit for the last year, so you know it's dead, so you know it's a danger. So something has to be done, and for that reason, I'm going to find you half responsible for the deductible for the amount that she's suing for, in the amount of $1,000.
Hold on right there, please, lady.
So the plaintiff prevails. She gets the $1,000 she was seeking from the defendant, Ms. Garrow. Let's see what Ms. Garrow has to say about this. What do you think?
Actually, I'm not too happy about it, but I guess I had to follow the rule, and if it does the rule, I'm agree to pay the $1,000.
All right, let's see what Ms. Savage has to say. She's the one who filed the lawsuit for the $1,000. I would assume she's happy. Are you?
Yes, I am.
Did you think you had a chance to win? Obviously, you must have. You filed the suit.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of knew I was gonna win because it's just how everything was, and then she lies.
Well, congratulations.
All right, thanks a lot.
And that will bring this case to a close. And it's a very happy plaintiff. Harvey?
Well, I want to make a bigger point than just this case, that if you have a neighbor who has a tree that looks precarious, put the neighbor on notice. Say, this tree is precarious, take care of it, cut it down, remove some branches, whatever. Once you put that person on notice, it creates a heightened duty of responsibility. And if that tree crashes or any part of it crashes and damages your property, you may have a case.
Marilyn, were you a PTA mom?
Yeah. Well, do you know? I should have asked you if you even know that.
What's the PT? No.
I was room mother, we called it,
Yeah,
at my
you were
kids'
room mother.
elementary school. I was room mother twice, actually, with a good
right.
friend of mine.
At St. Philip's.
Yeah, and we both worked, so we kind of shared the responsibilities. And there were always two room mothers, but we...
And what'd you do?
Everything.
Bring stuff in for the kids?
Yeah. Just the typical room mother stuff. You have no idea what that means, do you?
No, not really. You know what? I never was asked to do it, like to be room father, which I think is totally sexist. And I never said a word. I didn't say a word about it.
Newsflash, there were room fathers, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't say a word about it. I just, most men, I suffered silently under the boot of the matriarchy in this country. And, But no, I was not a room father.
But we planned, it was their 5th grade graduation, because that's their last grade there,
Right.
and we planned their graduation. You plan all the events in the class.
You used to go to most of the school trips with the kids.
You did go. You did your share
I
of
did
that.
one or two. And I remember there was one to like St. Augustine where one of the fathers is on the bus and kind of looks at you and goes, "Who's that lady over there?"
I know most of the parents here, but
I don't know
who is
that
that
one.
lady? I go, "That's your child's teacher."
Which I thought was kind of funny. I guess he wasn't that involved.
No.
At the time. Oh, well.